Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Thank you for showing up. In this article, we're going to go over, is Bitcoin a tool for criminals? But drug cartels prefer banks. So yeah, this is a major topic among newbies or people who just like to argue about the crypto space, saying it's only used for the criminals. Well, in this article, we're going to find out that they actually prefer using banks instead, probably because the banks are kind of like criminals. A report from the International Narcotics Control Board shows that Bitcoin is not the preferred method for drug cartels and other criminal groups to launder money. They rather use banks. This opposes the widespread narrative that claim that digital coin creates the opportunity for crime. Said argument is often used to excuse the hostility of different entities toward Bitcoin and tends to propose banning it. But if it is actually the traditional financial institutions that are enabling criminal schemes, should authorities ban those instead and adopt Bitcoin? I'm just pointing out the irony. How the cartels launder money. Drug cartels require a great deal of funding. The INCB attempts to follow the money trails left behind by criminals' operations in order to disrupt the illicit financial flows and disable criminal groups. In the latest report, the organization looked into the mechanisms that these organizations use in order to disguise the proceeds of crime and integrate them into the legitimate financial system. Let's see, the main forms of money laundering mentions are the banking system, cash carriers, bulk cash smuggling, money service providers, alternative revenue systems, store of values, trade-based money laundering, mobile or internet payments, cryptocurrencies, nonprofit organizations, real estate, and front companies. Although cryptocurrencies have been portrayed many times as dangerous tools that enable illicit activities, the organization states that traditional banks continue to be favored mechanism for laundering money. To recall an interesting example, in 2012, HSBC admitted to laundering $881 million of drug proceeds for the Mexican Sinaloa cartel between Mexico and the United States of America. Prosecutors declined to seek an indictment of the bank, but instead allowed HSBC to pay a $1.92 billion settlement and be subject to 5 years of probation, during which its efforts to prevent money laundering would be monitored by a court-appointed watchdog. After a 16-month investigation by various journalists and media partners concluded that banks continue to provide services to criminal activity, including shell companies tied to looted government funds and financial go-betweens for drug traffickers. Seemingly, the compliance and anti money laundering measures have not been enough to stop the largest financial institutions from being complicit in the movement and laundering of illicit financial flows. They highlight that the Mexican cartels are one of the most dominant drug groups in the world. To launder their money is to believe that they practice cross border bulk cash smuggling and use shell companies in an intricate scheme that involves national and international financial transactions. Now, is Bitcoin useful to criminals? The report also claims that drug cartels in Mexico are increasingly turning to the internet, Bitcoin, and e commerce to launder money and sell drugs. The Mexican government established a law in 2018 that requires all crypto exchanges to report transfers over $2,830. Although many have claimed cryptocurrencies help criminals because they operate anonymously, exchanges comply with regulatory and anti-money laundering measurements through the Know Your Customer process. It seems like they have often helped authorities, not criminals. Mexican cartels are believed to launder an estimated $25 billion a year in Mexico alone. The criminal groups split their illicit cash into small amounts and deposit them into various bank accounts. With this method, it is believed that they purchase small amounts of Bitcoin online below the red flag marks. They can obscure the money and allow them to pay associates to report claims. According to the Drug Enforcement Administration of the United States, both Mexican and Colombian organized crime groups are increasing their use of virtual currency because of their anonymity and speed of transactions. However, unlike banks, the transactions of Bitcoin and other digital coins are easily traceable and publicly stored. Investigators can track the trail of the movements. Chain Analysis reported recently that in 2021, crypto-based crime hit a new all-time high, doubling the previous year amount of money that was received with illicit addresses to $14 billion. However, the total usage of crypto also grew exponentially over the year to around 567%. Given that criminals related activity only saw a 79% increase, this also means that the illicit activity shares of cryptocurrency transactions volume has never been lower than 0.15% of the total cryptocurrency transactions volume in 2021, so very low. Another detail to note is that the recorded $14 billion is far from the estimated $25 billion of money laundering yearly by the Mexican cartels. Even if they were the only ones using crypto illegally, it would not be enough to fuel their funds. They still have to turn the mechanisms linked to the traditional financial system. So criminals aren't using Bitcoin for their illicit activities because it's tracked, it's traceable. Like anybody can follow it if they want to. So that's why they are not going to do that. And so like the $14 billion that have been used for illicit activity in 2021 doesn't even compare to the $25 billion a year that the cartels in Mexico have done. So yep, Bitcoin is not useful for the criminals. So that's answers that question out there. Or is it a tool for them? No, it is not. So I hope this article helped you out in getting you a little bit more educated in the crypto space. If it did, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a beat. And until next time, the Crypto Sherpa is out.